Hello, hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of Channel Your Light, Own Your Intuitive. Thank you so much for being here with me on this channel. I am grateful for your presence, for your comments, for your spirits and your higher selves, and your perceptions and expressions, and just who you are. I'm grateful for who you are. So I have love messages, which, as most of you know, it's not typically something I do. But if everything is love, it makes sense that people would be getting love messages in relationship to them. So the song that keeps playing, and it's very tender. It's almost like whoever this message is for, you're in the process of letting somebody go, or you're choosing to let someone go, or you're disconnecting from something that you are deeply tied to. And I want to say throat chakra, difficulty speaking on it. Something or someone that you love deeply, that you're making a decision to either let someone go or to speak your truth to somebody. I feel like for some of you, it's just you're speaking your truth to somebody that you've had difficulty communicating or haven't actually spoken, I want to say, in real raw truth. So, and there's fear, whoever that is, there's fear in surrender. I'm getting the surrender card. We're all being asked to surrender, to choose exactly what it is we want, to ask for what we want, to say what we need, and not worry whether or not what we're asking for or what we need or what we're choosing is going to be reciprocated to us. Because technically, in the choosing is where you either get to let go based on the response, or it grows and flourishes into something more beautiful and expansive. So don't be afraid to ask for what you need. I was told to go with the song. Wow. Somebody's really in their throat chakra, really struggling with words right now. Opening up the expressions, so interesting. It's definitely a transference of energy I'm getting from somebody in regards to that. So the message today is a love message, but we're also pulling into the subconscious for you. This is going to have great depth so that you have great understanding is what I am hearing. And it begins with the song, and it's by Bonnie Raitt, and I like some of her songs, and it's such a pretty song. And the section of lyrics it's playing is, I can't make you love me if you don't. I can't make your heart feel something it won't. So it's like somebody longing for a love, or for someone to love them back, or to give them what they need, or to be able to have somebody support them and love them in the way that you love them, is really how it's coming through. Now, the card that comes up is the surrender card. That's the first one. Surrendering into, there's nothing. I'm going to read the caption of this card. And I don't normally use cards unless I'm told to. And I'm very clear. Yes, let me tell you, I'm very clearly being told to. The card surrender. The essential meaning of this card is there's nothing more blissful than the act of letting go and of setting yourself free of all that doesn't serve you. And Spirit is saying, there's nothing more blissful as well as setting yourself free from someone or something that cannot meet you where you're at, cannot give you what you need, no matter how much you wish that to be true. Oftentimes, what we are looking for, and the person or the thing or the place or the idea or the path that's going to give us what we need, it is often around the corner. But if our focus is on this person, it's like the act of letting go. Someone's being asked to let go of an ideation, a concept, and it's in relation to relationships and love. And that dynamic, it feels very like, this feels very much like a love reading. I'm not going to lie. That's what it feels like. I want to tell you, it could be all these different things. And maybe it could be for you. Maybe you're not in this presence of this love thing or this experience. That just means this message isn't for you. It's for somebody else. But if you're in this back and forth of, do I stay or do I go? That's the song lyrics coming in. Perhaps there's something in this message for you, not to tell you what to do, but rather to provide you with some clarity and understanding of your own subconscious, because I'm being told when we're in relationship dynamics, oftentimes our subconscious patterning is playing out, or our belief systems, or what we think we can and can't do, or why we choose the people that we choose can often be found in the subconscious. And yes, sometimes it's illogical why we choose who we choose, but there's a lot of other things at play, says spirit. So there's somebody who's beating themselves up because they chose who they chose, and why did I choose them? You chose them for a lot of different dynamics that have to do with your soul contract, your soul blueprint, your lessons, their lessons, your family's lessons. There's all those things packed into this. So there's never just one answer as to why you chose someone. And yet, I feel like there should be simplicity in it. And perhaps the simplicity is moving down into the subconscious, the root and the patterning, because the next card is all about the tea, the magic tea is what I'm hearing. It's tea magic is the card. And the essential meaning on this card is, it says, reach into your subconscious, pull from the source, and weave your magic with intention. And only then will the answers begin to naturally unfold. So this has multiple meanings, this card, and it has hidden meanings. I'm saying one sentence, but it has 25 meanings right now, 22. It has 22 meanings right now. So for each of you, you may attune to it differently. Allow it to ping arrow. I'm seeing an arrow shot through the heart and you're to blame. It's like an arrow to the heart. So I don't know why that's coming up. Maybe somebody, you're feeling your heart's lost. I feel like there's a lot of different love messages coming and rolling in here. So I kind of want to dive down into this, because pulling from the subconscious is usually oftentimes going to present us with a different perception or a different understanding of why we do the things that we do and why we choose the people that we choose. And I want to talk about love loss. I can make you love me if you don't. So here's why I want to talk about this. Sometimes we're operating from programs, we don't even know it. Like, we don't even know why we're doing the thing we're doing. Sometimes we don't even know we're doing a thing. It's like over our heads. That's happened to me a lot. I don't even know that I'm doing that until somebody points it out. Like, hey, Erin, did you know that you're actually doing this? And I'll say, I didn't, but thank you for pointing that out. And suddenly all the answers begin to unfold for me. So sometimes we need other people outside of us to pinpoint of that concept or idea when we can't see it, because we got the blinders and we can't see through the forest of the trees. So that happens too. But there's also the aspect of we can do it individually through both self-inquiry and through just our mystical experiences, I want to say. The whole purpose of mystical experiences for me personally, and what I utilize them for, and how I attune to them, both in sessions for other people and in my daily life, is to be able to understand myself more, and to understand why I do the things that I do, and how can I expand more, and how can I grow, and where do I want to go, and what do I want to create, and why am I doing this, and oh my gosh, I should be doing that. There's all these different stories and narratives that all of us have, that sometimes when we're operating on autopilot, somebody's operating on autopilot, or the person you're leaving or debating whether or not to leave, you feel like they're operating on autopilot. It's coming in very clear. It's autopilot mode when we don't ask questions, when we don't have curiosity, when we're just autopilot. It's the hamster wheel. You just go, go, go. You don't look outside of you. You don't think, or you don't have the energy to. I'm hearing there's somebody in your life that they look outside briefly outside the hamster wheel, but they're not going to get off of it. They're just not meant to that at this time, and it's their path. You can't make them love you. You can't make them see. You can't make them choose differently. You can only do that for you. So here's what's interesting about this. This all actually has to do with the spiritual construction channel. If you have not watched that already, I will link that at the end of this video, as well as the Bonnie Raitt song, in case some of you feel like it's a message for you. I'll link the two of them at the end of this video. There is a resonance of this. Your foundation is your root chakra. It's your place of safety, sense, and belonging. When I think about my root chakra, and I think about my sacral, and I think about my solar and the heart and the lower earthly chakra energy centers, when one's out of alignment, the rest of them are kind of out of alignment because they're trying to compensate for the one that it is out of alignment. So it's almost like you could look at it as the earthly world, underworld, the subconscious, You could put any different label that you want to onto it. Oftentimes, it's what's hidden or unseen or we don't realize that creates that patterning. So I'm going to share a personal dream that I had that really highlighted this. And the reason why I'm sharing the dream is because when I actually broke the dream down and through the metaphors and the understandings of it, it's actually about this root foundation subconscious piece. And I also am being told that I'm to share this experience because I'm going to be able to describe to you the symbolism that can show up in dreams so that you can try and decipher your own dreams and meanings. But for some reason, I feel like somebody's struggling to decipher the meaning of a dream that they've had, but the answer is right in front of your face. You just have to learn to understand or lean into the hidden symbols of this reality and this earth plane and consciousness, because symbolism, numbers, all of those different things play a very specific role, and they're all guiding us and leading us and giving us answers and teaching us knowings, including the symbolism in nature and spirit animals and all of those things. So when we have dreams, we're often attuned to very specific things. This dream was actually about surrendering, pulling from my subconscious to literally pull from the source and weave the magic, as the card is saying. So I want you to just settle in and listen to the dream. Don't try and figure it out. Just listen to it as I describe it. And I'm going to pinpoint the things afterwards or during. I like to do it during because it's in the flow. So in the dream, I am driving my car. It's my car. I'm the driver. And I have somebody in my passenger seat from my past. And the person in my passenger seat has the passenger seat laid down. So they're laying down and I'm driving. And they're wrapped in a red, brilliant, a vibrant red blanket. And I pull over to the side of the road and I'm angry. And I'm angry for these reasons. I'm angry because I have to drive the car. Why do I always have to drive the car? I'm angry because they're just laying down and not saying a word. I'm angry because they're not giving me what I need. Like I need as a human being, as a general healthy relationship needs or healthy interdependence that I need. I'm upset that they aren't who I need them to be. I'm upset that they're not meeting me at the level that I'm at, the place that I'm driving to. I'm driving to this location and you're not helping drive to the location. You're not doing anything. You're just laying there with the red blanket wrapped so tightly around you that you don't say a word, you don't make a move. You're just cool, calm, and collected. You're just relaxing. And I'm angry because this person isn't communicating. This person, they won't get out and drive the car for once. I'm angry that they're laying down. They're not even sitting up to help me navigate. I'm angry that they're not being who I need them to be. I'm angry that they're not pulling their weight. I'm angry that they're not willing to speak up and communicate. I'm angry that they're not willing to get out of the blanket that they're so tightly wrapped in. So I'm on the side of the road in my car that I pulled over and I'm angry and I get out and I go to the head of the car and I stand at the front of it and I put my hand on it. And all of a sudden it was like, I am deeply unfulfilled by this relationship because I am going this way. And you are not going this way. You cannot give me what I need. You cannot be who I need you to be. You can't support me in the way that I need to be supported. This is what's going on in the dream, that I'm saying these things and I'm feeling these things and it's super intense. I'm trying to get this person to be who I need because that's who I need, but they're not being that person that I need. They're not loving me the way that I need to be loved and deserve to be loved and want to be loved. They're not in a interdependent relationship. They're in a codependent one where they play a role, but it's not really the role that is healthy. Let's put it that way. Now, I want you to look at the symbolism in this dream. I can make you love me. I'm angry because I was trying to make somebody be what I needed instead of honoring who they are and where they're at. I was angry that they weren't being what I needed, rather than recognizing, honoring, and respecting they're being who they need to be right now. And it's okay for me to let them go. It's okay for me to ask them to get out. When you actually unpack it, not only am I not honoring who they are and the journey they're on and the way that they need to go, I'm also not honoring myself for where I am and where I want to go. I'm not honoring the fact that I want to go here. I wasn't honoring the fact that, hold on, I need this. So I need to move in the direction of giving myself what I need first and foremost before I can give to anyone else. I wasn't honoring the fact that I'm over here going this way and you're going backwards or you're stagnant over there. I wasn't honoring myself. So in my attempts to get what I need from someone else outside of me, I wasn't honoring their journey. And I also wasn't honoring my own journey and where I'm at and what I needed and the accountability to fulfill that within myself or move in the direction to someone who could be what I needed. Because we all need something. So like we need food. We need food to eat to survive. These are needs. And it's the same in relationships. That's a deep subconscious belief. There's a reason why he was wrapped in a red blanket, why it was my car and I was driving the car. There's a reason why I was angry that they weren't what I needed. But they were exactly who they need to be for their own journey. I wasn't even honoring myself in the fact that I need more, or I need something else, or I'm looking for something that looks like this. Instead of honoring that and moving forward, I had this subconscious patterning of, and this is the fixer mentality too, friends. If this is you, you'll know if this message is for you. I am sharing openly, honestly, and vulnerably because I feel like through transparency and through our experiences, sometimes we're able to see ourselves in that reflection and say, oh, I do that and I can let it go too. Because that's really why this came up. It's to show me very clearly, like, you're trying to make people what you need instead of going towards the thing that you need, which makes you smaller. So I'm getting it as levels, right? If this is my frequency and this is somebody else's, if I keep going down here saying, I need you to be up here, I need you to be up here with me, and they're not doing it, my job is to be like, hold on, I need to honor myself right here in this frequency that I'm at. And it doesn't mean it's better, friends. It's just a different journey. We're just at different places. When I give a levels like this, it doesn't mean that I'm better and they're worse. Not at all. Like, I deeply love that person. They're incredible. That's not the reference that I'm giving. It doesn't mean somebody's better than another. They're just at different places, doing different things. So if I'm dishonoring right here to go back down to here to try and make somebody else come up to my level, it doesn't work that way. I need to honor who I am and where I'm going and what I want and what I need. And I need to be able to ask for that. And I feel like somebody on here, I'm being told you need to take up space. You're here to, you're in a body incarnated and you're afraid to take up space is what one of your guides are saying. Let me tell you, do not be afraid to take up space. Do not be afraid to ask for what you need. Do not be afraid to say yes. Do not be afraid to say no. I feel like this is really about personal power, but it's in relation to, because I can make you love me if you don't. I don't need to make anyone go down there and say, come on up here and be like me. I don't need to do that. I need to honor me and my frequency and move forward in that state. And the person over here who was wrapped in the red blanket is like, do you see the lesson, Erin? Do you see what it is? You see how easy and perfect and beautiful and simple it is. That person in the dream showed me exactly who they are, and it's perfect. They don't need to change. I actually needed them to be in that state for me to get this peace so that I could let go. I am not sharing this for somebody to say you need to let go of somebody in your life. I'm sharing this because the symbolisms in the dream is it's my car. I am driving the car and I want to be the driver of my car. And I do not want any passengers in my car who are holding me back, stagnant, aren't part of the journey, can't help me navigate, and aren't what I need. This is what it's showing me, that I'm not honoring myself and where I'm at and the expansions that I've gone through and the places that I wish to go and the things I wish to experience, because I'm trying to make somebody else do it with me. And I don't need to make anybody else do it with me. I have to honor this right here, because when I honor this, all the people that can meet you there are already there. They're there too. And this person over here, I'm not leaving that person behind. I'm just understanding the dynamics and the subconscious patterning that I had in order for me to let it go. And I'm hearing that's the lesson learned, right? And we all have different lessons. And sometimes the lesson is enormous. And sometimes the lesson is really itty bitty. But I feel like for somebody on here, I can't make you love me if you don't. You can't make someone come to where you are. You can't make them be what you need. You can't make someone love me. We don't need to go fixing people. We don't need to make people different than they are, because that person was actually in the most perfect way for me to see this. I don't need to make them different, but I do need to honor them and where they're at on their journey and their soul and their blueprints and the beauty that they are, because I love them deeply. Always have, always will. But I also need to love me and say it's okay for me to be here and go my way. It's okay for you to be there and go your way. And sometimes when that happens, when we make those choices, we ask for what we need. Sometimes this person starts to awaken and comes to that state. And sometimes they don't. It actually doesn't matter which one they choose, because we're always being called to focus on our journey. So it's like a subconscious patterning. I'm being told the red blanket, the symbolism, the car, I'm the driver of the car. I'm angry because I'm not getting what I need. They're wrapped in their root chakra blanket, that vibrant red. They're not communicating. They're just going about their day and doing their thing and not recognizing that I need something. So this is all massive symbolism. You'll notice I'm driving down the road and I have to pull over. I have to stop to identify this. I have to stop and see what's in my foundation, what's in my root that can't go with me, what's holding me back. It's surrendering in the act of letting go of the need to make someone else be something because it's what we want or need. And sometimes that's hard to wrap your mind around. Sometimes it's hard to let people go. Sometimes it's hard to identify those things. I also wish to share this about the dream. I received that in a dream state for a reason. It was in my psyche, coming up from the subconscious. And then as I sat down to unpack it and decode my own dream, because I like to do that, because there's great and deep meaning and things I can learn and understand about myself. In the unpacking and deciphering of the symbolism and the omens, that's when the conscious understanding and integration happens. So when something comes up from our subconscious, it can bring up feelings of anger. It can bring up feelings of not getting what we need, or old patternings or ideas or narratives or ways of doing things that feels uncomfortable, discomfort. I was angry. It felt uncomfortable. And I was like, why aren't you being what I need you to be? It's that state, right? When something comes up from the subconscious that is running a program that isn't in alignment with where I'm actually going, that's why it needs to come up and out. And it came through in a dream state because I'm really good at deciphering dreams for a multitude of reasons. My daughter Ava is saying it's more than a feeling. It's more than a feeling. It needed to happen in a dream state so you could receive it openly and not place a judgment or a logical label. You had to experience it because you would be able to pull out the signs, synchronicities, omens, and symbolism that was required in order to understand it in your conscious daily waking life so that you could let it go consciously. Understand why you acted a certain way, why they were a certain way, from you've got a higher power, from a higher power, right? Not only do we have the ability to remember our dreams to help us understand things, we also then have the ability to consciously unpack it, integration and understanding, when we begin to speak the language of spirit, symbolism. This world is rich with symbolism, hidden meanings. It's everywhere you look. It's all over the place. And then I also have this beautiful connection to my daughter, to spirit, to my guides, who will point something out to me and say, that's the thing right there. Go back to that. Go back to that. They'll say, that's the thing right there. It is a beautiful thing to be able to love someone unequivocally. And when they choose to go a different way, and when they do not fulfill the thing that you are looking for, to simply love someone and to be okay if they go another way, and to be okay if they take a left turn when you're turning right, and be okay if that's the end of the road, and just to love them and be totally unbound from the attachments of it. It's so freeing, so freeing. And everyone gets what they need in that moment. This person over here doesn't have to constantly feel like they're not enough because I'm trying to make them be something that they're not. And I get to go and fulfill my wildest dreams and my deepest desires because I'm no longer trying to make somebody else be part of that or be in alignment with that. It's freedom. It's a beautiful thing to just love them and also not need them to be anything but what they are. And yes, I can choose to stay or choose to go. But first, I have to love them as who they are. That's me personally, how I feel. Maybe you feel the same. I'm curious to know who's really going through this because it's very intense. Like I was told repeatedly, the dream was very indicative for me that it was something that I needed to share because it's bringing in the different pieces and the facets of the ways that our psyche and our intuitive realms are always trying to guide us and lead the way. And don't be afraid of what you see, and don't be afraid of the answer, and don't be afraid to let go, because sometimes it's in the letting go that everything comes together so beautifully. That's why surrender is so important. And surrender, we think we're giving away our power, but you're not. In surrender, you're actually stepping into your power, into your co-creation with the divine, allowing the divine to lead and guide you instead of doing it alone. I'm hearing a song for somebody. You can go your own way. That's the song lyrics specifically for somebody on here. But I'm hearing you're never going it alone, ever. Think about it. I can be standing here in a room alone. I can be with no human beings for quite some time and be physically alone. But I actually am not lonely because I'm not alone. I have myself. I like to spend time with myself. I like to be alone. I like to be with spirit where I can hear clearly, where I can understand and I can integrate. I also love being with other people who are like-minded and aligned, or a journey that helps me to mold and shape mine into more of what I want to. It doesn't even have to be similar. It can be all these different dynamics that shape this beautiful path that each of us are on in the journey that we're taking. But I'm being told for somebody on here, the reason I'm talking about this, because I don't know why I'm talking about this, Spirit says you're talking about this because you are not alone. It is easier to let go of people when you realize you're not alone. You're never alone. You are asked to co-create with the divine because you are the divine. You're meant to co-create. You're connected to the divine. You're the divine incarnate walking the earth plane. You can surrender into the divine. You can let go. You can release the attachments because the divine is walking with you, in you, around you, always there. If you call, I will answer. If you call, I will answer. All of these different facets. And it's so funny because we're all feeling like we need to be attached to people, or we need them to come with us, or we need them to be this, we want them to be that, as a means of control or a means of safety, or feeling like we're not going to get what we need unless we act a certain way or do a certain thing. And the truth is, when we just surrender, we just let go and let everybody be who they are. My daughter Ava, that's when you begin to fly. That's when you don't have to have those push-pull dynamics because they're no longer required. So whomever is making this decision, whomever is leaving somebody because they're not getting what they need or feeling like they can't make somebody love them, I'm hearing deep, deep heart hurt. This hurts your heart deeply, but it's not intended to, it only hurts your heart because you think it should be a different way. To love unequivocally is to love without the need of reciprocity, simply to love for the sake of loving. And also to recognize this is actually nudging you and pushing you to actually move forward and choose people, places, thoughts that bring you peace and reciprocate the love that you give. Why on earth would you want to make somebody love you the way that you love them? Why would you want to make somebody, or even have to make somebody love you? You should never have to make someone love you. If I have to make somebody love me, you do not belong in my energy. You do not belong in my life. You do not get to take up space in my energetic field or my mind. If I have to make you love me, that's the issue. We're not in alignment. So this feels like I want to be very soft in this, and it feels very soft. It's the heart and it's tender. And whoever this message is for, in you're making that decision, you are loved. You're just, it's almost like it feels like you're not loved because you're not being loved in the way that you need. You are loved. You're just being loved in a way that isn't the way you need, or you're being loved in a way that doesn't seem like love, to show you that you are your love. You need to choose you. You need to dive deep into you. You need to surrender to the divine. You need to surrender to honoring where you're at on your journey at this frequency, not always having to go down here and change somebody else's. And it feels like this is a message for a divine feminine. To be clear, I also feel like this is somebody who is at an issue with a car, or the reference of the car. I'm being told to share this dream with you because the reference of a car is significant for you. Either you're buying a new car, your car needs to be fixed. You were thinking about buying a new car. You just got a car. You've got an old jalopy. There's just a reference of this message is for you because there's something about a car, or who's going to get the car. There's that too. There's just something about a car that's sticking out for me that's relevant for whoever this message is for. I'm being called to share all these different things. We don't want to be with people that we have to make them love us. We don't want to be with people that we have to change them in order to get what we need, because really that's just you trying to be right. That's a different message for somebody else. It would just be you trying to be right. Who they are is exactly who they need to be. Perhaps we're being called to choose us and honor where we're at and just be who we need to be and ask for what we need and choose what we truly want, and not be afraid to choose that, not be afraid of the fact that some people we would let go and they would go a different way. Those are major life decisions that I'm talking about here. Like whoever this message is for, you're at a major crossroad. This is a major decision, and it's not a decision that one would make lightly, is what I want to say. And taking the time and taking the care, I'm going to pull it. They're telling me to pull a card for you as a final message, which is interesting. It is a decision that you do need to take care with. You do need to think about the consequences of the action. What does that mean? Not because you shouldn't choose you, but because there's a lot of people at play. Whew. Guess what the card is? Because I can't make you love me if you don't. This is your final message. This card has so much symbolism in it, my friends. I really hope it's very clear on the screen. This is such a powerful card. And I know it's a little bit graphic for YouTube perhaps, but this is a divine feminine deck. It's fascinating that, notice it's the root, notice it's the understanding of the cycles for a divine feminine on there. So we also have the tree of life. We have the sun and the moon, the night and the day and the stars. You'll notice that on the ground that is rooted into the beautiful flower blossom, the womb, you see the vessel of the roots, the blood veins. This is such a potent picture to depict a lot of things. It's about sacrifice, right? I'm sacrificing who I am and where I want to go in order to try and make somebody else do it with me. So this is somebody who's dealing with sacrifice. You sacrifice yourself a lot, or you dim your light a lot, or you bring your frequency down here just to keep the peace, or just to be on this keel because that's where everybody around you is. That's where the people you love are, is right here. And they're like, you don't have to sacrifice you to keep loving them and keeping a support system for other people. You're not supposed to sacrifice yourself. That's not why you're here. If I am the light, many people will say it's really difficult to be the light. It's not difficult to be the light. You are the light. I am the light, the truth, and the way. I know that's not how it's always said, but it's being given to me in that reference for a reason. I am the light. It's not hard to be the light. You are the light. That's what you are. But it is hard to constantly be in this denser, darker area. That's what's hard. Being the light is not hard. It's shining the light in when you're in the dark. That's when it feels like a struggle and it feels like it's hard. The sacrifice card, I'm being told just to read from the guidebook. So I am going to do that. For those of you who are wondering what deck this is from, it's a potent deck. It's called Seasons of the Witch, the Beltane Oracle. And I will link in the video description box below a link that takes you directly to this deck if you wish to purchase it from there. So I will read the card number Sacrifice 36. Change. Says change, finding the ebb and flow of life within your very self. Embracing it all is embracing the truth. It is not denying a piece of who you want. This comes down to choosing, not denying what you truly want to choose, not denying what you truly need, so that you come down here to these people instead of just letting go and saying, no, this is what I need. Don't deny that, because then you're denying you. You're denying the divine expression. You're denying what you need. You're denying them of understanding the different dynamics too. So I'll read from the deck. Sacrifice invites you to let go of something that is preventing your growth. I cannot believe I pulled this card. Spirit, you're amazing. I love it. Crystal clear this message is. It's everything we've discussed in a multitude of different ways. Sacrifice invites you to let go of something that is preventing your growth. You do not wish to move on, but deep down, you know this is a necessary step on your path towards greater fulfillment. This can mean moving to a new home, embracing a new career, or even a new way of thinking, even a rite of passage, such as a graduation. It is shifting from one mode to another, where things get left behind and you are called into new things with fresh eyes. You know that you are on your way to more, but this moment perhaps is still bittersweet. Pulling the sacrifice card shows that you have some doubt about your next steps. You wonder if you have made the right choice, if you might regret your actions if you make that choice. Yes, there will be challenges ahead, and perhaps more sacrifices to come. But you must be willing to sacrifice something small to reap the rewards of something greater. It's time to commit to your choices, move on in the knowledge that there is much more for you to explore. This too shall pass, and all will be well. And I'm supposed to reference, for somebody here who's really into numbers, this is on page 111, 111, this card. And the number, it's card number 36, in case you're 36 or 36 has significant meaning to you. So my friends, T magic, pulling into the subconscious, surrendering, the act of letting go, and sacrifice and making choices. It was very clear when I was told to sit down and do this channel and heard this song. At the very beginning of this channel, somebody's struggling with a decision. Do I stay or do I go? I feel like these are very divine messages for you, not to tell you which way to go, but rather to give you the courage, the strength, the clarity. Really, we need clarity to make the decision that is best for you and best for everyone that's involved in the situation that you're making the decision for. So I'm being told to tie this on to the spiritual construction video. If you haven't watched that already, again, I will link that here. This is a spiritual reconstruction. It is a house reconstruction or new build or tearing a house down. It's all these different things that's happening right now for a lot of people. So take heart, dear heart, says my daughter Ava. The answer will become clear when you dig down into the subconscious, when you are willing to ask for what you truly need, and don't be afraid. It's not too big, is what she's saying. What you want to choose, it's not too big. The fact that you even want to choose it means you're capable of reaching it, that it exists. It's in the ethers, waiting for you to move towards it and get everything into alignment, to touch it, to grab it, to have it. But you can't have it if you don't commit to, this is what I want. You can't get what you need if you can't ask for what you need. I feel like I'm just reiterating things, but let me tell you, says my guide, you're getting verbose again, Erin, which I tend to do sometimes. Anyways, so I will leave that with you. Let me know if this resonates in the comments for you. And I hope my sharing of that dream helped, the different dynamics of it. And a lot of times I find it's through my personal experiences or my experiences with people that I work with and in sessions and their experiences, then I'm able to unpack a lot of information, the steps. Why are we doing what we are doing? What's the symbolism? What does that look like? What does it mean? What does it mean to me? What does it mean to them? What does it mean in general? And maybe it has a different meaning for you. but I trust that this was the message that needed to be delivered. So my friends, if you wish to have an intuitive guidance reading session, quantum clearing with me, please feel free to find the link to book that in the video description box below. And I am sending you all much love, light, peace, healing, transcendence, and clarity for you to make the decisions that are best for you. And until next time, beautiful souls.